Hey there, friends in the interwebs. Joy here with SubrosaTea.com. How are you today? Today I'm going to issue you a challenge. I'm going to challenge you to drink the rainbow. I think we all have a tea that we absolutely know and we love. We kind of stick with what we know. We know what caffeine level to stick with. We know how to make our favorite cup of tea. But I'm going to challenge you to listen to me today about all the different types of tea and add something new. Friends, if you are new here, welcome to everyone. My name is Joy. I'm the owner of SubrosaTea.com. We're a small company based in Northern Ohio, and we will ship anywhere in the United States. If there's no red above my head, that simply means you're watching it on the replay. Feel free to use the hashtag replay and shop as you normally would. I need to just make sure that everything is connected. It looks like it is. If you're here, feel free to give me a like, a comment, a share. We absolutely love it when you spill the tea over here on Subrosa Tea. Friends, we have been in business since 2012. We are primarily an online web store at SubrosaTea.com, but you can enjoy 15% off your first mobile app purchase. I think you're absolutely going to love watching and shopping the videos. So search Subrosa Tea in your favorite app store. Feel free to use the coupon code NEW15 for 15% off your first in-app purchase. And that again is on our mobile shopping app. On a mobile shopping app, you can watch these videos and swipe and easily tap the products that I'm going to be talking about today. If you are on Facebook, keep in mind you could be shopping directly from Facebook by typing the word register. You'll receive a one-time only Facebook notification via your messenger. Go ahead and fill that out. Don't worry, you're not going to miss a thing. I'm just going to steep myself a cup of tea. Hello, Miss Lenora and Monica. Hi, Claudine. Thanks for joining us today. First off, friends, I'm going to steep up myself a cup of tea, and then we're going to dive in to talking about the rainbow. First thing I'm going to do is, friends, we sell loose leaf tea here. We also sell blooming tea and matcha, but in this video I'm going to talk primarily about loose leaf tea. I'm going to make myself a teapot of tea because I am feeling so fancy and fresh. Who knows what kind of tea this is? I've got lights above and on the side and in the front of the camera. I hope you can see it. This is yellow tea. Have you ever heard of yellow tea? I'm going to be talking about all the different types of tea, what tea is, and all that good stuff. I'm just going to use my electric kettle. It already came up to 175 degrees, which is my preference. I put in 2 servings of tea in this teapot because the teapot holds 18 ounces, which in my mind is 2 servings of tea. So that's why you saw me use an entire tablespoon of tea. I poured the hot water in and I'm only going to steep it literally a few minutes while we are chit-chatting. Hello there, Miss Carolyn. Carolyn, if you have already registered, you're on the app. You are totally good to go. You don't need to register again, but thank you, J. Carolyn. I always love the comments and good stuff like that. Vanessa just said she loves yellow tea. Isn't it wonderful? It is a little more expensive, and I'm going to explain to you how it is made, and you're going to see why. It is definitely a treat in my mind. I love it. Like, it is one of those things about being a tea drinker that just pleases me so much. I love having fun in the kitchen. I love creating really fabulous recipes for all of you to have fun with your tea. But this video, I'm going to really get back to basics and talk about the rainbow and why you should consider adding something new to your life. So we're going to be talking about all the good things from the tea plant. We're going to talk about one tea that doesn't even come from the tea plant. Does that sound funny to you? Tea that isn't actually tea? It's a real thing, and we sell it here at Subrosa Tea. Uh-oh, Mr. Subrosa Tea just startled me. He just walked in the front door. Sorry, you guys. He knows I do a live video 8 o'clock, but he's here early anyway. Maybe he'll make an appearance, but I doubt it. Anyway, friends, who remembers their very, very first cup of tea? I have to tell you, my first cup of tea was definitely a cup of Lipton. Lipton was the first cup of tea I've ever had, but more memorable than that was my first cup of loose leaf tea. I had a friend who totally recognized the fact that I was a foodie, and she knew I'd never had loose leaf tea, and she introduced me to chai. And I wanted to bring that up just a few more seconds here while my yellow tea steeps. Chai is something that, as a tea owner, I get asked for a lot. I think people have two misconceptions that chai is a tea. It's a type of tea, and Earl Grey. That Earl Grey is tea. It's not exactly. Let's get into specifics just a little bit. Chai is a blend of spices. So here at Subrosa Tea, we can add that blend of spices. You could just drink the blend of spices and not add it to tea at all. But here at Subrosa Tea, we have added it to green yerba mate. We have added it to black tea. We've added it to white tea. We've added it to Rooibos, which is known as the red tea. And it's actually not tea at all. It's completely caffeine free. So a lot of people, I think, tea is a type, and it's not. It's a blend of spices, which is absolutely fabulous. Claudine just said her first cup, I think she meant her very first cup of tea was at Starbucks. Her first cup of tea was at Starbucks. I have lived in a community that has had a Starbucks, I think, for maybe about a decade. I've still never been in a Starbucks. I used to travel for a living. I used to travel to 5 different states and pop up for a living. Vendor fairs, festivals, craft shows, things like that. I've still never been to a Starbucks. But I know they have chai lattes because people ask me to recreate them themselves. Like, which flavor of tea should they buy from me in order to create their own chai latte? Did you know if you make your own chai latte, it costs like 20 cents? Doesn't it just blow your mind? I love it when people say tea is expensive. I'm like, well, compared to what? I mean, if you are out at Starbucks and they charge you $4 for a chai latte, yep, that's not cheap. But if you buy it here and make it yourself at 20 cents a cup, or even if it was 40 cents a cup, that's still nothing compared to like a can of soda or a bottle of Gatorade or something like that. But anyway, we got to talk about the tea. Okay, so Claudine just said, how do you get the app to get this tea? So all you need to do, Claudine, is go to your favorite app store. Okay, so if you're on Android, you're probably going to go to the Google Play Store. If you're on Apple, you know that's the App Store. And all you're going to do is search for Subrosa Tea. Make sure it's 3 words with 2 spaces in the middle. It's free to download the app. You're going to see me chit-chatting in my leopard shirt, and you're going to see that this video is titled Drink the Rainbow. So when Drink the Rainbow is up on your mobile shopping app, you're going to see that you can easily swipe and tap all of the products that I'm talking about into your cart. You're going to love it. Like I said, by the way, I doubt you're the only person new watching this video, but hun, if you're new, make sure you use the code NEW15 at checkout. You get 15% off your first in-app purchase. So I'm going to talk, I'm gonna drink a cup of tea in just a bit, but I want to keep talking. The yellow tea is done steeping. I only wanted to steep for like 2 minutes, so it was a really fast steep. But I'm gonna just set that aside and get to talking now. Let's see. I really want to talk about tea, the tea plant, Camellia sinensis. I want to talk about the tea plant, and I'm going to talk about it in all the different teas that one plant yields for us here at Subrosa Tea, and I'm going to talk about it via caffeine content, just so you can kind of follow along and stay here. Now, up first in the queue, if you're watching on the mobile app, we do sell green yerba mate, which is not the tea plant at all. Green yerba mate actually has more caffeine than the tea plant has. It has approximately 80 milligrams of caffeine per cup. We do sell mates. Again, it's not the tea plant and is not today's focus of the video. So I'm going to move on to a breakfast blend. I'm going to literally talk about Ceylon first. I meant to get my globe. I totally forgot to get my globe here. If you didn't know, we're based in Northern Ohio, okay? So we will ship anywhere in the United States. My target audience are Americans, anyone who lives in the U.S. Tea doesn't really grow well in the United States. We simply do not get the elevation or the rainfall that the tea plant really, really loves. Black tea grows in India. It's predominantly the tea that we sell is called Ceylon-based tea. Ceylon is the region of Sri Lanka that used to literally be called Ceylon. I think maybe some of us even remember when it used to be called that. There's actually a petition in the government right now to go back to the country of Sri Lanka being called Ceylon because they are so proud of the tea that their country produces. So at Subrosa Tea, we call our Ceylon breakfast blend. Breakfast blend is plain black tea. Who's traveled? Leave me a comment. Have you traveled abroad? If you have been in Britain. Primarily, they're going to be drinking black tea. I've done other videos about the history of how that black tea was taken from India, exported to Great Britain, and that is why they drink so much black tea. And two things, what's interesting about the Brits and how they enjoy their black tea. You're going to see that all of them oversteep it. Like, they'll steep it for 5 minutes. Oh my gosh, how bitter is that? If you haven't tried it, it's almost not drinkable to my palate. I'm a princess, though, I do admit that. But they almost always add milk and sugar then to their black tea. It's common, it's customary, it is what everybody does. They steep it way too long, they make it way too bitter, then they add milk and sugar. You know what I'm saying? What's up with that? I've got a timer nowadays. I've got a timer on my cell phone. I've got one on my microwave. What's the big deal? Set a timer. Personally, my taste buds love black tea at 1.5 minutes. Not joking. But traditionally, though, black tea is typically steeped around 3 minutes. A lot of people do enjoy 3 minutes. So that's what we recommend here on the package. If you're brand new to Subrosa Tea, or new to loose leaf tea, I don't want you to be intimidated. We have taken all the guesswork out of it, and we give you suggestions right here in the package, especially if you're giving it as a gift. You have no idea if that person is a huge loose leaf tea drinker. We'll tell you exactly how much tea to scoop out per 8-ounce cup, how hot to get the water. You can steep our tea both hot or cold, and of course how much tea to put in. So how much, how long, how hot, the temperature. It is all important in order to get the best, the absolutely best cup of tea. Black tea is actually the most oxidized. Let me show that to you. I think I put it in the screen, but I want to show you one more time. This is what Ceylon black tea looks like. In the tea world, Assam is the other type of black tea that is used predominantly. We use Assam blend in our pina colada tea. That's the base for pina colada. As you can imagine, even if you haven't had that tea blend, I've added coconut and pineapple to it, okay? So even though the base is a little bit bitter, I was playing with it because the sweetness of the pineapple and coconut balance that Assam perfectly to make the perfect cup of tea that isn't too sweet, and it's just really fabulous. But primarily by itself, we sell Ceylon tea. Also, I want to make sure, next up, that you see the difference in Oolong tea. Black teas are extremely small leaf. I would say they're the smallest leaf that we're going to talk about with the tea plant. You will see a smaller tea leaf. I'm going to show you what Rooibos looks like, but it's not the tea plant. So this is the Oolong tea here. If you can tell, the oolong leaves are larger. They are more amber in color. It is a fabulous cup of tea. Oolong tea, let me show you how that's spelled. Let me put that in front of the camera here. This is Oolong tea. If you have ever been to a restaurant and you simply order iced tea, they give you tea, brown tea tasting tea, especially if you're in the north and it's not sweet tea. You can taste it. You have tasted what regular, plain, unflavored tea tastes like. Like I said, black tea can be just on that bitter side. Oolong is what tastes the most like that brown tasting tea that you would get in a restaurant. It is the most tea tasting tea. It is not bitter like black tea. It's not grassy like green tea. Nice and smooth. It's definitely my favorite as like just an unflavored cup of tea, especially with a meal that's very flavorful. In my mind, I always want a tall glass of iced tea when I'm eating barbecue. A tangy red sauce. I want a really flavorful, cold, great tea tasting tea, so I always make sure I have cold steeped oolong when I'm eating barbecue. Oolong is primarily served in Chinese restaurants. Oolong is great mixed, paired with salty food. I don't know the last time you ate in a Chinese restaurant, but I think we can all agree that typical Chinese food is very salty. So oolong is absolutely my go-to, absolutely perfect with that. And it is what they would typically serve you if you ordered a pot of tea in a fine Chinese restaurant. I also have to say, oolong is great for your metabolism. I get asked so often, what can I drink to help me lose weight? Well, come on now, we're all adults. I think we all know that you gotta eat less in order to lose weight. But I would really turn to the oolong because it is known to rev your metabolism. And I don't know about you, but when I go out to eat Chinese, I never eat a small amount. I'm always going to eat a large amount, maybe like 2 whole plates full of Chinese food. I love it. And it's like the Chinese know, oh, I gotta get this girl something to rev her metabolism. So oolong is definitely my go-to on the Chinese food, and that is what is typically served there. I'm going to move on and get, oops, I didn't even put the oolong in the queue. My apologies. Oolong, I'm going to just pause that in the queue. It is sold $106 if you are shopping on Facebook. But if you're on the app, you'll see next that we're going to talk about sencha. Again, friends, these teas all come from the same plant. The black tea is the most oxidized, and then we're going to move our way down to the least oxidized. So we are right now in the middle, and we're going to talk about sencha. Sencha is the type of green tea that we sell here at Subrosa Tea. There are multiple types of green tea, but I think you can see easily in the camera that this is a nice whole leaf product. It is very green. I would even say that it does look like blades of grass. I think some people who drink tea bag tea don't even know what actual tea looks like. So if you do come from someone who is drinking tea bag teas, you do need to know that loose leaf tea is 10 times healthier for you than tea bag tea. It has that many more antioxidants and how your body is going to consume or react positively to the antioxidants in loose leaf tea. So do yourself a favor. If you can afford good quality loose leaf tea, our here at Subrosa Tea happens to also be organically grown, which definitely does help. The secondary byproduct of producing loose leaf tea is actually called dust and fannings. So it's not going to look like this. It's tiny, tiny little pieces parts. That's what is left over from this. Like if you get, I don't know, let's say like a bag of crackers or a bag of potato chips, that there's typically dust in the bottom. So you know that term, bottom of the barrel? Bottom of the barrel is something that literally can relate to a lot of beverages that are steeped in barrels, but tea is also stored in barrels. And so the bottom of the barrel, the dust and fannings, is what is put into tea bags. So yes, it's the tea plant. It's not fake or anything like that, but you'll get so many more health benefits from drinking good quality loose leaf tea. So this is the green tea. Like I said, this one in particular that we sell here at Subrosa is called sencha. It's fabulous. It's nice and light. I think that I've run into an awful lot of people in my career that simply don't like green tea. One, they've been told to drink it, okay? So I've seen a lot of, like TV doctors, or, you're in a waiting room and you pick up a magazine and they're like, what's the healthiest tea? And they always say green tea. Well, I think they say green tea specifically because it's readily available. If you're going to drink something, go ahead, go with the green. Two, I think they recommend it because it's lower in caffeine. There are definitely people who should not be consuming too much or as much caffeine throughout their day. So if you're going to make a blanket generic statement to the public, you could easily just pick green tea and go with that. So I find that a lot of people have tried green tea, but they don't like it. So 2 tips, okay? First of all, again, on the package, if you are a person who's had green tea and you don't like it, try it one more time. Okay, pinky swear right now that you're going to try it at least one more time. Try it the Subrosa Tea way, okay? I'm really fussy, and if I like it, I bet you will too. Try it with a lower steep temperature. Let me tell you, friends, if I came to your house and you poured boiling water over green tea, I wouldn't like it. Oh no, I would not. Green tea leaves are very delicate. Boiling water can make the green tea leaves bitter and grassy. Not my jam. Not even at all. Also, if you throw that boiling water, or even water that's just steaming, over those tea leaves and you put it aside for 5 minutes, I cannot drink it. It is just not palatable in my opinion. Try setting a timer, okay? Try steaming water. Try setting a timer, maybe 1.5 minutes. Maybe you like it at 2 minutes, but it's probably not 5. If you are still determined to drink your green tea and you do not like it after those two recommendations, cold steep it. Cold steeping is absolutely fabulous. And you're still going to get all the L-theanine, which is the very specific polyphenol that's in tea. The whole reason why the TV doctors and those articles in the magazines tell you to drink tea, it's for L-theanine, okay? It's a really specific antioxidant that does absolutely fabulous things for your body. You can only get it from tea. So, try cold steeping it. Put the tea leaves right in cold water, just like this teapot here, okay? Tea leaves, cold water, stick it in the fridge. You could cold steep it 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 2 hours, overnight. It doesn't matter. Whenever it tastes good to you, it's fabulous. It will not oversteep and it will not get bitter if you put your tea leaves in cold water. So definitely give that a try as well. If I didn't mention it, sencha is the type of green tea that is served in fine Japanese restaurants. It's absolutely perfect with sushi. And again, this is sencha. One of my favorite things to work with. Next up, friends, we're going to talk about white tea. We're still talking about the tea plant, but the white tea is the very least oxidized of all the teas. White tea is very high in antioxidants, very low in caffeine. Now, why do you think those medical TV doctors don't mention white tea? One, it is a little more labor intensive for the tea master, so it can be a little more expensive and it can be a little more rare. However, here at Subrosa Tea, it's not. When you really think about it, what's the difference between a 22-cent cup of tea and a 23-cent cup of tea? I gotta tell you, I don't think it's much, especially when we're talking about antioxidants and we're talking about your taste buds. All I know is it's not gonna help you if you don't drink it. So we gotta find a tea that you actually enjoy. Not only does it have the great health benefits, but we want it to taste fabulous. This is another great tea that is definitely good, hot or cold. Let me compare the two for you. Once again, friends, this is the green tea. It's called sencha. And this is white tea. As you can see, the white leaves are not actually the color white, but they are much, much lighter green color. They're much lighter. It smells fabulous in here. I can barely contain myself. The leaves are much larger in white tea. We sell our tea by weight and not by volume. And I meant to mention that earlier, that we do sell our tea in 3 sizes. So when you're watching the video and you see the 3 sizes, the try me size with 5 to 6 servings is absolutely perfect. You try it hot, try it cold, try mixing it with something else, try it at different temperatures, try it to your heart's content. You see what I'm saying? The 2 ounce is a very nice value, and the bulk size is what we do honestly sell a lot of when people know exactly what they like. It's how you can save the most money by buying that 8 ounce size. So like I said, white tea, higher in antioxidants, even lower in caffeine than green tea is. Next up, friends, is the yellow tea. This is the yellow tea that I steeped myself in the beginning of the video. We are not calling this yellow tea here at Subrosa. We call it Cup of Sunshine. We call it Cup of Sunshine. It's actually Hunan Gold tea is the specific type of yellow tea. So what they do is they take the white tea, they encase it, and then steam it. They mean the tea master. If you've not seen any videos on how tea is grown, it's grown up on a mountain, so it is plucked from the mountain, and then at the very bottom of the mountain, it's processed right there. So I don't want you to think that I'm processing the tea to turn it into this. I live in the United States. That's not how this process works, okay? So the tea masters, wherever it is grown, it is doing this step for all of us before it is imported to the United States. So again, this is yellow tea. I don't know if you can tell. It looks a little bit green to me, but it has these gold hues to it. To me, it is just so fabulous and so fine. I love the taste of yellow tea. It is definitely a wonderful, wonderful treat. It does have a fair amount of antioxidants as well. It is extraordinarily low in caffeine. Just wanted to say thank you to Monica. She just said she's learning so much. She's watching on Facebook. Betty just joined us on the app. Good evening, Miss Betty. And Claudine said she's had tea at Teavana. Oddly enough, I've still not had Teavana tea. I think that they're out of business, at least where I live, that they are gone out of malls. But we're still around, and I suppose that's all that matters, right? So again, friends, this is the majority of the tea that we sell, the tea bases here, but I did want to talk about purple tea as well. Let's see, can I get that in the queue? Is it up? Is it down? Oh, there's the purple tea. This is purple tea. Have you heard of purple tea? Who's tried purple tea? So purple tea is very similar to the black tea, but the purple tea is specifically grown in Kenya. Kenya gets a little more rainfall, but also more sunshine than the tea plant receives in India. And this specific purple tea has anthocyanins. If you don't know what anthocyanins are, again, they're a very specific type of antioxidant that you're only going to get in a few things like blueberries, right? Those purple things, elderberries. We do have it. We do sell plain purple tea, but I have to tell you what's not in the queue is one of our best sellers, which is called Purple Rain. Our Purple Rain is a purple tea base that also has lemongrass and elderberry in it, and it is by far one of our best selling teas. The tea is absolutely fabulous, hot or cold. And I will say that it has approximately the same level of caffeine as a black tea does. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to ask them, but I do want to jump over and talk about Rooibos really quick. Rooibos, again, friends, is not the tea plant. It is a completely different plant. This is what the Rooibos looks like. Rooibos, oh yeah, let me show you how it's spelled so you can see it. Rooibos. Rooibos is known as the red tea. It comes from the red bush. It grows in South Africa. It is not the tea plant, but I will tell you that at some point, I can tell you why. I do know specifically why. Do you remember the whole Boston Tea Party thing where the colonists threw the tea into the harbor because they didn't want it to be, they didn't feel like paying the tax to the British? We all remember that in history class. Well, guess what? Americans were then at some point without tea for a period of time, but also really searching for other things to drink. So as you can imagine, Americans drink more coffee. They discovered the coffee bean. They also discovered Rooibos, things that were being imported to America that weren't taxed the way the actual Ceylon, the black tea, was being taxed to America. So that's why it all happened. But it is still interesting. In the year 2021, we're hundreds of years past the Boston Tea Party, but still Americans do not drink as much tea as is consumed elsewhere. The other people were not paying the taxes, so they had no problems is still partaking and enjoying in tea as they always had. I think loose leaf tea, I mean, it's we don't know the exact origins, but it's rumored that we've been drinking tea for almost possibly even 3,000 years, that Buddha himself may possibly have been the first to bring the tea plant to where it's grown today. But I think the jury's out on that. I don't think anyone really was scrolling down, journaling what Buddha was doing as he was traveling. So I'm not sure that's exactly historical, but we don't know. But I will tell you that just about anything that you steep is called tea. It's just the way it is. So in America, we call everything tea. If you just pick some peppermint out of your garden and steep it, it's called tea. That's what we call it. Same with the Rooibos. We call it tea because we steep it. But in other parts of the world, as you travel, if you ask for tea, you're not going to get peppermint. You won't get chai. You won't get Rooibos. You would just get black tea. But anyway, we love Rooibos. Who loves Rooibos? I know I sure do. I'm at that age where I will take all the help I can get. Rooibos is completely caffeine free. It grows that way. It's not like we take the caffeine from it. All the tea plant does have caffeine, but Rooibos doesn't have any. Rooibos is known to be good for headaches, inflammation, and insomnia. Raise your hand if you do not suffer from any one of those three things: headaches, inflammation, and insomnia. And it's caffeine free, so you can literally have as much as you want. My recommendation is steep it in boiling water. Steep it 5 to 8 minutes. I know that sounds like a lot, but technically it's herbal. Technically it's not the tea plant. It's not going to get bitter the way the tea plant does in boiling water. You don't have to drink it that hot, trust me. That's not required to get those health benefits. Lenora says she loves Rooibos. I love playing with it in the kitchen. I love all the different recipes that I can create with Rooibos. I absolutely love it. Rooibos is also known to be good for asthma. I don't really suffer from asthma. I have a few allergies that come my way that I seem to have like an antihistamine reaction to, and I think that specifically my reaction has been less now that I've become such a tea drinker, that I do start my day with Rooibos, I end my day with Rooibos. I do have regular tea, tea during the day, but I get at least my 2 cups of Rooibos in a day. I love it. The way it's known to work against your asthmatic reaction is that it calms down and blocks that histamine reaction that your body normally fights with, which is how we feel so terrible when we're suffering from asthma. And the other thing that's really interesting about Rooibos is it's known to be good for strong bones and teeth. You heard that right. Can you believe it? A tea is actually good for your teeth. Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm just thrilled. I'm absolutely thrilled to know that something that I love so much is actually doing my body good. Friends, that kind of ends today's Drink the Rainbow Talk. I encourage you to check out our website, check out our mobile app, find something new. The next time you place an order, add something new to your cart. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I think most of us know exactly what we like, and we just keep drinking that. Trying something new is my challenge for you at this time. Friends, thank you so much for watching today's video. I greatly appreciate the time that you share with me. No matter what you do with the rest of your day, have yourself a cup of tea and take care of you. Bye-bye, friends.